Hello everybody, Christian Jack with the gaffer Jesse Marsch here in beautiful Bucharest. Day one of the European Diary as we cover your team. It's a lovely place. You've been here a couple of days now. You had your second training session today. What are your initial thoughts?
So I've been to Romania before because in Leipzig we had a Euro qualifier in Craiova. Bucharest is a beautiful city, very modern, different than I thought. The people here have been really gracious in welcoming us. And then bringing the players back together has been exciting. And you know, every time I see the guys again, it's just such a joy. They're such great character. So yeah, the first 2 days have been really good, and everybody's excited for the challenge of these two matches.
And it's hot here, no? It's a little similar to the Gold Cup.
Yeah, it will be warm. We play so late on Friday night that we think it will cool down. You've seen some of the guys, whether it's playing at their clubs or now in some of the European performances that they've had, that the league's getting started, that it's been hotter in Europe.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be fine from an adaptation standpoint, and we want to put two really good performances together.
Speaking to some locals, this is a huge game for Romania. They're a little bit behind the 8 ball already in World Cup qualifying, lost at home to Bosnia-Herzegovina. They go to Cyprus this week as well. I guess that's a good thing, no? For you, you want a team ready.
Yeah, the question we have is with the game that they have, the important match that they have on Tuesday, what will it mean for what they do with their starting lineup and their overall group on Friday?
Yeah.
But we know regardless that it'll be a good team they put on the pitch, and it won't be easy. They have a lot of really good players that play at good clubs and play at a very high level. They're athletic, and they've got real football savviness. So we're preparing the team. We've talked about a lot of their qualities already, and it will be a big challenge. And I think for us, the Canadian national team hasn't won on European soil against a home team since 2009.
Yeah.
And that was in Cyprus. And so we want to, against two good opponents, find a way to get two good victories and continue our preparation for what next summer will be.
I'm used to giving you the stats. Now you're giving
No,
me the stats.
I know. I'm coming back at you.
I like this. I'll give you another one. You're
Okay.
sharing the sidelines with the Romanian football legend, Mircea Lucescu, the coach. You know how old he is? I'll tell you.
Okay.
He's 80.
80?
80.
Wow.
What are you going to be doing when you're 80?
I don't want to be coaching when I'm 80.
I knew that was coming. I didn't want to answer for you, but I figured you will not be coaching.
Look, I love coaching. I do, and part of the reason I love it now is because of this team. But it takes a lot of energy, right? It takes a lot of energy.
Let's talk about some of the news of the day. Obviously, there's some transfers as well, so I want to get into that. But no Kyle Laren in the squad. You did hint to that a few days ago with his family and obviously having a third child. And Theo Bear, what do you like about bringing Theo in?
Yeah, so Kyle, first of all, we were having good discussions with him and his agency, and I know the sport director at Feyenoord. So I'm really excited about this move for Kyle, and I think it could be a really good one for him.
You expect him to play often there, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's going to have to still compete for spots, but I think he knows that this year is really important for him, and that he has to commit himself to getting back to playing at his best and most intensively. So this will be a big opportunity for him. We looked at Jebo. Jebo still, even though he played 3 games in the week, wasn't really right. And so the club and Jebo both felt that having the international break to continue his recovery process was important. So then we thought Theo coming in and giving him a chance to take all the lessons that he's learned over a tough year in Auxerre and at a high level in that league, and to see what he looks like again will be valuable for us to assess. Theo's been really excited about it. Theo's a big personality, right? He's very mature. He loves the game. He understands what it requires. He loves feedback. He wants to work for the group. So we know we have all that with him, and so far I think the first couple of days for him have been really good. He's also made a transfer to Lausanne that has a coach that has a Red Bull background.
Right.
So I think that could be very beneficial for him and for us.
Fascinating. His first call up, obviously, since I think the Suriname game, I think at home was last time he played for Canada. You mentioned it there about dealing with managers and Jebison and Paul Higginbottom being at Preston North End. I think what our viewers would love to know, Jesse, is that how do you navigate those relationships, particularly this time of year? It's awkward. No transfer window just coming, people opening up. Do you get managers demanding, don't play him this many minutes? And how do you navigate that challenge? Because obviously you can kind of do what you want, but you want to continue relationships.
Well, the first part is because I've been around in Europe for a while and I've met a lot of people at different clubs, when discussions start to happen between the agencies and the players and these different clubs, and if I can help out with a connection or a suggestion or an opinion about the player, the club, the style of football, like what the overall collaboration can mean so that we put our players in the position to be successful. It was a busy August, right? And I was really thankful that a lot of the players trust me, and that the agencies that they work with trust me, and that the clubs that they were considering that I had relationships with them. So I think we all did a good job of really trying to assess what was best for these players. And I give credit to the players too, because they're not just out thinking about money grab. They're thinking about, okay, what's the next best step in my career for myself, for my family, and what can it mean for ultimately what the next summer means in the World Cup. So some really high level discussions and decisions that were made that I think will be beneficial for our guys. Then when it comes to calling them in for camps, look, we're always trying to do what we think is best for the player. And whether it was leaving Alfonso out of the Suriname camp and back at Bayern Munich because all the matches he had, or different decisions that we made along the way, including Jebison or including Kyle Larin with his wife this time.
Right.
We want the players to be able to manage their personal and professional lives and their commitment to the national team to the best of their abilities, because ultimately them performing well at all levels will be beneficial for what we're doing here. And I think we do that carefully and have really good discussions internally.
Fantastic. Just a couple more with you. And again, thanks so much for your time. Because you do so many interviews and you're so welcoming with the media, I think a lot of people already know that you're challenging the players now for leadership, right? That's the next step with that in terms of learning and obviously broadening that player pool from the Gold Cup. You spoke about those learnings. How much as a coach have you, if at all, have you watched that game, the Guatemala game, and how and what would you maybe do differently as you look towards going into these games and also tournament football next summer?
Yeah, I mean, look, overall, I was actually really pleased with the summer, and if we win the penalty shootout against Guatemala, I think that, we would have given ourselves a chance to compete against the U.S. and onward and so forth. That game particularly, I mean, we looked at, okay, what kind of decisions did we make at halftime? What were the performances of the subs? Okay. What kind of decisions did we make for the penalties? But look, I think the learnings are the most important, right? And the overall development of the program is the most important. And could I have added another defender at a certain point? Could we have defended a certain moment a little bit better? All these things come into play, and the fine margins between success and failure, whether it was Copa America or Gold Cup, are always under the microscope. But that's my job, man, and I'm not afraid of taking the heat. And if people want to say I didn't do a good enough job, in the end, we didn't achieve our goal. I expect people to be critical of me, and they should, but internally we have a real strong confidence and belief in what we're doing, and certainly we've really increased and broadened the player pool and not sacrificed what we're achieving at the highest level with our best players. Once you look forward to next summer and see the squad that we can put together and what it might mean for the performances at home in the World Cup, it's exciting. It's an exciting time for the Canadian national team.
Last one, that's the players. Let's talk opponents. Romania, good team here. Wales next week, a good team. Both around those areas that could qualify for the World Cup. We know what's coming in October. Australia going to the World Cup. Colombia going to go to the World Cup. Today you announced Ecuador in Toronto. How excited are you to get them as an opponent, and what will they bring?
Man, this is exactly what I wanted. And I think I said at the beginning of 2025, this will be the best year for Canadian soccer in terms of level of opponents that we'll have ever had. Obviously, they're not all meaningful matches, but I hate when people say they're friendlies because they're all meaningful matches.
Preaching to the choir. Right? I've been saying that for a long time. They're internationals, no?
Yeah,
you represent your country.
Of course. And coming here to Romania, going to Wales, you get off the plane, the first thing you see is a huge store in the airport for the Romanian national team's kit and jerseys and what it means to the country. Being at places like this, you understand that football takes on a whole nother level of importance. And our players love that. I think they want to be in difficult situations. They want to play against the best, and they want to show that they're capable of competing with the best and being better than the best. So this is what this is about. It's about a fall and 3 windows that we're almost grouping together. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about overall performance. We're talking about continuing to push the young players in our group. And we're talking also about having better second half performances. differences. You can do this if you want, KJ, but I did this for the team. Since I've been here, there's been a vast difference between how we've performed in the first half, how we've performed in the second half. Some of that I have to look at and say, okay, what subs am I making? What tactical changes? What are we doing at halftime? But certainly the best thing that we can get at any time with any decision that the coaches make is that the players are always ready to perform. And so, we'll be pushing that in these next 3 windows. We're kind of grouping them together and making sure that we achieve some of our objectives and make ourselves stronger and better for next summer.
That was supposed to be the last question, but you just prompted a question I want to ask you, because I've noticed covering your teams at halftime, the opposition has all the subs usually out there warming up. You tend not to do that. Is there a reason for that? You want them in the discussion?
Yeah. We want to be talking about, all right, what's happening in the game?
Right.
What are we looking to get out of the second half? What adjustments are we going to make? And then we kind of let the group go out and make sure they get a little bit of warm-up so they're ready to go. But I don't want those players disconnected from the discussion that's being made at halftime and from the strategy changes. So yeah, we typically have everybody come in. Sometimes if we have a sub that we want to make at half, then we
got
say,
to train.
Here's what you need. Be ready for this. Here's your responsibility. Here are the changes that are being made. But in general, the group is also really committed in every way to doing everything we can to be our best.
Fascinating stuff, my friend. Appreciate it. Great to be alongside you. We always learn something, and hopefully the viewers as well. We're with the team all this week in the build-up to Friday's game live on One Soccer.